You guys, okay, I feel like just when I feel like I could not say anything more politically incorrect than I already did I already say on this channel, something comes out in the news and it turns out I can be more politically incorrect than I have been in the past. And this might actually shock a lot of my women subscribers, but just try to follow me here. So I'm sure by now a lot of people have heard of what TI did. And literally, I'm subscribed to a Black feminist. Yes, true story. I am subscribed to a Black feminist channel named For Harriet, and she is doing a live titled TI is disgusting. And when I saw the title, I was like, TI is disgusting. I just agree with the title, just on the premise of stating the facts, right? But, but then I heard why TI was disgusting. And I thought, could it be possible that somebody I don't respect at all is actually doing something that I don't disagree with? So let me go ahead and play the clip because apparently TI has his daughter's hymen checked. And for those of you who don't know what a hymen is, it's a small flap of skin that, when you talk about popping a woman's cherry, it is torn during her first sexual intercourse, unless something goes wrong. Like, for example, me, I actually had my hymen damaged on a bicycle when I was really little. I was trying to ride a 10 speed and I kind of smacked down and I hurt myself. And so for people like me, that can be damaged earlier. But for most women, if there's no trauma to it, then that happens when you lose your virginity. So people are all up in arms and crying patriarchy and, child abuse. And y'all, I am not mad at TI. So let's just go ahead and listen to what he had to say. And you know what? I feel like for a person who in no way, shape, or forms respects TI at all, I don't like him. I don't respect him. I don't care about him. I literally agreed with the title. TI is disgusting until I heard what he had to say. If I can get over my dislike for TI to agree with him that this is good parenting, I feel like anybody should be able to. But like I said, let me just be more politically incorrect than I have already. And I know the feminists are going to come with me because I'm just a brainwashed woman, but nevertheless, let me go ahead and share. Thank you, Sugar Bee Chronicle. Literally, I had never thought of doing that. You guys know I have all boys. Wait, I'll rant about this in a minute. Let's just play what he said. Let's start there. And then I'll tell you how I really feel.
Now we had a conversation. We have yearly trips to the gynecologist to check her height. Oh, hey! I'm done with you right now. So, do you know she's in prison? Somebody check on Deja. She's a prisoner. So I can tell you, right? So, doctors maintain a high level of professionalism. He's like, well, sir, I have to. In order for me to share information, I say, Deja, they want you to sign this. They want you to sign this right now. I need to know if your hymen is still there. So we can share information. You have anything that you would not want me to know? Oh, okay. See, Doc, no problem. You are the worst.
Okay. So, the way people were talking, they were making it like he was going in there and pulling a Dorothy Dandruff and checking her hymen himself. But that's not what he's doing. He's not checking it himself. He's taking her to a medical doctor in a pediatric setting during her yearly checkup. And he is getting verification that his daughter is in fact a virgin. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. Okay. I am not mad at it at all. I'm sorry. I can play it again a little louder if you guys need me to. But I'm not mad at it at all. Honestly, I have all boys. You guys know I have a bucket load of children. And all of my adult children are boys. So I actually have little girls. And I had never thought of this. But this is an amazing idea, and I would never, allow my daughters to be alone in a doctor's office anyway. So I legitimately am going to take a page out of his book. It'll probably be less awkward because it's me and I'm a woman and I'm their mother. But I like this idea. I plan to steal this idea. Okay. That's how much I like this. I don't have a problem with this. I don't know why everybody's screaming patriarchy and is mad at Ti. Ti is a scumbag. Okay. He's not a good person. He annoys me every time I hear him talk. But for once, this man has said something that actually makes sense. And I think it's very good because his daughter knows that this is going to happen. And it will help keep her chaste. I'm glad he's on top of it. He knows how he is. He knows how whorish the women that he associates with are. He knows what nasty stuff he likes to do to women, and he's trying to protect his daughter. I cannot be mad at it. Like I said, I'm stealing a page. I can't even believe these words are coming out of my mouth out of his parenting book. I think that every parent should do this. I mean, your daughter is going to go there anyway, right? Once she starts her period, she's got to go and start getting checked anyway. So, what is wrong with you being able to know if her hymen is still there? I mean, why not? Like, well, that's what I said too. I said for women who have not had it already damaged, because I was saying for me, I damaged my hymen when I was a child trying to ride a 10-speed bike. I just came down on it way too hard and it actually damaged it. I bled a little bit and I had to go to the doctor. But for most women, your hymen does remain intact, right? And so is it a perfect science? No. But if her hymen is there and then suddenly it's not there, it's not like if you damage your hymen, you're not going to know. That's a thing that we know as women. But I like legitimately, Sugar Bee, are you doing the same thing? I had never thought of. I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm not mad at Ti. Now, we can say a lot of things about him and they would be valid, okay? He's misogynistic. He's a pig. He could definitely treat his wife better, but she's there for it, right? But he has a house full of children he's taken care of, and clearly he's really paying attention to his parenting because he's trying to maintain the chastity of his daughter. And I mean, who can really be mad at that? But you literally have people screaming misogyny and child abuse. I mean, honestly, I thought the man was checking her hymen himself the way people were talking. I thought he was out here in this world like um cracking her legs open and looking for himself the way people were all up in arms about this. But I'm like, he's not. He's taking her to a doctor. They're looking there anyway. They're going to look at her vagina. You might as well find out what they saw. Do you know what I mean? If this were any other thing, if it were making sure that she were developing properly or that she didn't have a chronic illness or that, if she had some oddity going down, down there, nobody would fault the parent for wanting to be informed. I don't even like the way the doctors are now, where you have children having to consent to their parent knowing about what's in their medical record. I don't even agree with that. Like, when the hell, that's my child. I should not even need, he was talking about he had to sign his daughter has to sign a form for him to get her information. I don't even like that system where they can give your child condoms and birth control and all of these things without your consent. I have a problem with that, period. I feel as parents, we need to know what's going on with our child, including if your daughter's hymen is intact. I mean, why not? Is she 19? 19 to me is not very old. 19 to me is still a child. I don't know why people start trying to act like 19-year-olds have some sort of mentality and adulthood bestowed on them that didn't exist when they were 17. So that doesn't bother me. If she's 19 and she's living in his house, I think that that's perfectly fine. 19 years old is a child to me. A 19-year-old is a child. I would imagine my daughters would still be living in my home at 19. Still covered by my medical care. When you have a child, do you know your child is covered by your medical care until they're 25? Just like a little kid, they can still be covered by your medical care. So her age is irrelevant to me. So she's 19. That's a child. I'm paying for your care. I'm paying for the doctor. You are a child, literally. Why not? I don't even think, and honestly, even for her to be 19, younger children, like 15, 16, 17-year olds, can have confidentiality with their doctors, which I guess is excellent in cases of abuse. But honestly, in just the regular schmegular responsible parenting case, that is problematic. Oh, what did he say exactly? So, Anne, every year, TI takes, um, I feel like the only people 19-year-old is 19 is not a child to are people who want to have sex with a 19-year-old. I'm not saying you want to have sex with a 19-year-old. I'm just saying that when people try to make the argument that 19 is not a child, I'm like, are you trying to date a 19-year-old? If you're a parent, you know that 19 is still a child. Nobody who's parented children is going to tell you a 19-year-old is an adult. Legally an adult, but like they're really children. They are the same kind of child at 19 that they were at 17. But what I'll say is, and what he said was that he takes his daughter after her birthday for her yearly checkup. The doctor obviously checks her vagina, checks her body over. She signs the consent to have him informed about what happened during her checkup. And one of the questions that he explicitly asks is her hymen intact? He wants to know if her hymen is intact. Thank you, I don't know, fool. To me, you're a child too. To me, you're a child too. If you're under 21, you're a child to me. Me too. And R said most children are kids until they're 26. And I would have to say that. I would have to say, to me, definitely an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, these are all falling in the child category to me. When I look at 20-year-olds, they're kind of like adults, but they're really like big children in behavior for most of them and everything. I know we sexualize them and youth is hot and sexy and all that, but like if you've been a parent, you recognize developmentally where these people are. And as a mother of people who are 4 years old and people who are 24-year-olds, I can tell you, after raising many, many children, that they do not suddenly become adults because the law says so. They are still very much children. Anne says, so she gets a pap smear and she's a virgin. No, you don't have to get a pap smear to have the hymen checked. That's just a visual. And doctors always look, if you have a female child, you know from the time that they are a baby, doctors always look at the vagina and you can see the hymen just like that. Nobody has to insert anything into her body or anything like that to see that the hymen is in check. Right, Darafil, emotionally they're children. I agree. I don't know, Full said, I'm 27 and I would not date a 21-year-old. I mean, yeah. Sugar Bee said, meanwhile, a friend's 17-year-old daughter just had a gender reveal party. Yeah, that's a problem, right? A whole child giving birth to a baby is a problem, which is all the more reason that I advocate for these hymen checks. I mean, the doctor's going to look at her vagina anyway. I want to know too. That is a brilliant idea. T.I. has not said many things that are actually insightful and brilliant, but I have to say, he's on point with this parenting thing. He's on point with checking her hymen. I am all about it. He said, I believe there are 30-year-old children still getting Easter suits from their parents and borrowing their parents' car. Yes, I have seen this. I have seen 40-year-olds that are mentally 21. It's unattractive, but true. And Anne said, well, nothing wrong then, really. He's keeping his daughter in check. And I completely agree. I think he is protecting her. And that makes sense to me. I don't have a problem with what T.I. said. Now, I have a problem with T.I. I don't think T.I., I mean, I wish he would just go shut up and be a father. But I don't have a problem with what he's doing. I think that these crazy feministas who are out here talking about, oh my gosh, it's child abuse and misogyny is alive and well. And Dada, first of all, like, nothing's wrong with male leadership. Second of all, as a mother, I would want to do this. Now, I'm guessing this is not Tiny's child because I would want the mother to go. Like, that's probably would be my only gripe, right? But if she's in his home, Tiny's not her biological mother, I can understand why he would go. For me, I would be the one to go with my daughters. It would probably be less awkward, you know? But I would be the one to go with my daughters, and I would be the one to get that information. And then if anything needed to be shared with their father, then I would be the one to share that. But in theory, I don't have a problem with this. Like, does anybody have daughters? Like, you know, is anybody a parent? I hear a lot of people with no kids like chiming in on this. You're not even a parent. You don't know. You don't know about this life. You know, I hear a lot of childless feminists running their mouths about this. You're a feminist with no kids. I don't think you get a voice in parenting. Okay? It's easy to have a lot of, you know, opinions about parenting and what is and isn't right in parenting when you don't have a child. And then, you know, well, I've spent a lot of time around children. I babysat so and so. I kept somebody's kid for a year. It's literally not the same thing. Yeah, and I don't know, Fool, you're kind of saying exactly what I meant. You have kids, so that plays a part in it. When you're a parent, it definitely makes a difference. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. I appreciate that. So I think that I'm comfortable with this. Like I said, I know that this is not the right thing to say. I know I'm not supposed to be on YouTube as a woman saying I have no problem with the fact that this man goes to the doctor with his daughter and insists on knowing whether or not her hymen is in order every year. I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I don't care. It's right. It's okay. Like I said, I would prefer that her mother did it, but Tiny is not her biological mother, I don't believe. And so it's his place as her father because that's whose home she's in. And honestly, I had never thought about this. I'll just reiterate it because I have a lot of kids. My eldest child is 24. My youngest child is 4 years old, but all of my older children are male. So I've never had to think about this. But after hearing what he said, I'm like, that is a good idea. And I will be doing this. Like me personally, I will be doing this. And again, it'll probably be less awkward because I'm a woman, but at the same time, like a parent is a parent, right? A parent is a parent. And so I think it's okay. I'm not moved by the fact that she's 19. 19 is still a child to me. She's still dependent on him. He still takes care of her. I just don't think that there's a magical teenage number between 17 and 19 where somebody just transforms into a whole adult. I just think that's a fantasy of people who have never actually raised a child. And trust me, because those 19-year-olds depend on you just like the 16-year-olds and the 15-year-olds. They need you in the same way. They're literally the same people. Like nothing has changed. But I mean, I'm not going to stay on here super long about this because I don't really have a lot to say about this. I really don't. I could open up a panel about this. I'm scared of what y'all will say, though. So you guys will just have to agree with me that I'm right, okay? That this is okay. That T.I. is a lot of things and we don't have to like him. I'm personally not a fan of T.I., but he's right about this. And honestly, I would encourage more parents. I know for my daughters, I expect them to be in the home with me until they marry, right? So I would expect all parents to be equally as responsible. Why is your child's sexual activity not your business? Your child. I'm not talking about your 28-year-old. I'm not talking about your 30-year-old child. Why is your teenage child's sexual behavior not your business? This is why people end up getting surprised when their daughters come home pregnant. Your 14-year-old has a baby in their stomach and everybody will go, oh my gosh, and gasp at that. But then if you want to make sure that little girl is being chased and you want to stay on top of that, people are going to call you misogynistic. They're going to scream child abuse. Which one is it? Do we not want the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19? Do we not want these kids popping babies out of their vaginas? Or do we want to be involved in our child's health across the board? This sort of hands-off approach with children and parental like sexual um, engagement as far as knowing what your kids are up to is problematic for me. You have kids able to go and get abortions. You have kids able to go and get birth control. All of these things without parental knowledge and consent. That is problematic. I think parents should be able to be involved in that. And actually, I like what T.I. had to say. So, Anne said, I prayed to God for a son and God. I understand because it's an easier life when you have a boy. But with that said, I'm not going to stand her long. That's legitimately all that I had to say about this is I'm not mad at T.I. I don't like the man, but he was right about this. And I'm not really offended by what he had to say. So with that said, I will talk to you guys a little bit later.